thrive in the business jungle.
Welcome to Digital Leadership Lessons from Survival Training, the podcast where we show that true leadership doesn't start in the conference room, but where things get uncomfortable. I'm Florian Kneubühl, Project and Program Manager, Survival Trainer, and someone who believes that those who survive outside understand how to lead inside. Today, I'm taking you behind the scenes of this new format. Why nature and business speak the same language, and what you can expect in the coming episodes. The idea and why storytelling survives. Every project, every expedition, every crisis has a story behind it. And stories are what we humans understand, not numbers, not charts, not PowerPoints. In each episode of this series, I'll tell you a true story, sometimes from the wilderness, sometimes from the world of business, because both are survival spaces. One moment you're standing outside in the dark, looking for the way to the campfire. Another time, you're standing inside in the office, looking for the way to a decision. Both feel the same. Both require courage, trust, and orientation. And it is precisely there, at this interface between nature and management, that the digital leadership lessons from survival training arise. Why this podcast is different. I didn't want another podcast about leadership theories or management models. There are enough of those. And to be honest, I've had quite an overdose of them over the years. Everywhere you look, it's customer first, be agile, think resilient, empower your people, fail fast, learn faster, paradigm shift, or go deep, just to name a few. Words that sound good but are often empty, like a campfire fueled by artificial wood and gas. It looks reasonably acceptable, but it feels fake. We have become so accustomed to repeating the same buzzwords that we have forgotten what they actually mean. On the contrary, sometimes the confusion is greater than the goal becomes clearer. Agility is not a process model. It is the ability to remain stable in a storm. Resilience is not a post-it note on the office wall. It is breathing in chaos. And leadership does not begin with a PowerPoint slide. It begins with you standing up when everyone else remains seated. This podcast is not about slogans, but about principles. Not about best practices, but about real practice. I don't recite management mantras. I tell stories that you can feel. Because whether out in the wilderness or indoors on a project, leadership means making decisions when you don't have all the information. And that's where the real lesson begins. A look ahead, what to expect. In December, just in time for Christmas, the first season will launch with 4 episodes that will take you into real borderline situations. Coming this December, the podcast kicks off with the first episode, The Rule of 3 for Survival, What Leaders Learn from Nature. Second episode in January, How to Stay on Course in the Fog. Orientation when everything becomes blurred. Followed by Why Trust is the Best Match in February. How to light a fire without burning yourself. And in March, Leadership Means Managing Thirst. About motivation, resources, and what really matters. And that's just the beginning. And by the way, this podcast is not a monologue, but is intended to be an interaction between us. So I would be delighted if you would be part of it, because your compass counts. Send me your topic, something that concerns you as a manager, project leader, or team member. Something you've been wanting to understand for a long time. Maybe your suggestion will be part of an upcoming episode. Write to me directly on YouTube or florian.kneubühl@pmdeers.com. I look forward to hearing your ideas. If this idea appeals to you, then help me light the fire. Subscribe to the podcast, rate it, share it with people who should know that leadership is more than control, more than strategy. Leadership is attitude. In the fog, in the storm, in change. That was the kickoff episode of Digital Leadership Lessons from Survival Training. It all starts in December with the first episode, The Rule of 3 for Survival. Until then, stay alert, stay brave, and don't forget, survive the wilderness, thrive in the business jungle.
Thrive in the business jungle.